Hi, today at Kitchen NYC we're making baked stuffed artichokes, Italian style, with bread stuffing and some black olives. So these are really big, beautiful globe artichokes we just got yesterday at Fairway, and they're just wonderful for stuffing. A little bit labor intensive, but very, very well worth it. So as you can see, I've cut off the tips of each stem of the artichoke that has a little sticker in it. So you have to cut each one off individually, and then after doing that, you cut off the tip of the artichoke. And I'm going to boil these in salted boiling water, and usually 30 to 40 minutes. Since they're really big artichokes, probably 45 minutes if you're not going to bake and stuff them. In our case, probably 30 minutes will do the trick, since we're going to bake them in the oven after they're boiled. So we're ready to cook the artichokes now, to boil them. And here I have a pot of rapidly boiling water, to which I have added 3 tablespoons of kosher salt. I'm gonna submerge the artichokes in the water. Just a note: if you have to do a number of these, you're best off as you do them to hold them in acidulated water. Just put a little bit of lemon juice into the water so that they don't start turning, the cut edges won't start turning brown. So let's submerge these artichokes in the boiling water. And then what we have to do is, in order to keep them submerged, we have to put something heavy that will hold them down under the water. And whatever you have will do. So the artichokes are boiling, and we're beginning to make the stuffing for the artichokes. Now I've already diced 2 small onions, and just wanted to show you an easy way to dice up an onion. Your knife should be really sharp, and you should always have the palm of your hand here, not your fingers, because it's obvious that we don't want you to cut your fingers. And then just make some cuts lengthwise along the onion, as so. Turn the onion, and there you have a dice. And it just makes your job much, much easier. So our 30-minute alarm has just sounded, and it's time to test and make sure that the artichokes are done. Removing the top that we've put in to keep the artichokes submerged under the water. Now, just simply grab, if it comes off easily like that, it means your artichokes are done. And what we want to do is gently lift them up out of the water. And put them cut side down into a bowl where they will drain somewhat. And then we'll continue our work on them. So now we're ready for the next part, getting these artichokes ready for stuffing. So they are cooled and pretty much drained of the water that's inside. Now we want to just open them slightly, and we have to start pulling out the interior part of the choke so that we can get down to the bottom. There's a hairy center that we have to remove that sits right above the delicious tender part of the artichoke bottom. Still a little bit hot yet, as you can see, so don't burn your fingers. And we're getting more and more down to the part of this that is the hairy part that covers the bottom. Now, with a spoon, you can get in there, and you'll see if I pull this away, you'll see this, there's a very hairy part of the choke. You can see where it begins. Just take it out with a pointed teaspoon. You don't want to eat that. Here's the wonderful artichoke bottom. So you can see where it begins. Just remove it. Get it all out and ready for stuffing. And there we go. Fully cleaned and ready for stuffing. Now it's time to make the filling for the stuffing. So we're going to start with extra virgin olive oil. This is organic, unfiltered olive oil from Italy in a hot pan, and I'm putting about 3 tablespoons, to which I'm adding 3 cups of chopped onions, and 3 heaping tablespoons of chopped garlic. Looks like we might need a little bit more olive oil in the pan, maybe a tablespoon more. Sauteing these onions and garlic mixture, and we're going to season this with kosher salt. In cooking, I find that it's a very good thing to season every layer of food that you're preparing. I don't want to add too much salt to this mixture because the Kalamata olives that we're using are fairly salty, as well as the Parmesan cheese that we're going to be using later. I have a mixture here of fresh rosemary and thyme, which will season the onions quite nicely. Stuffed artichokes are really a very popular dish in southern Italy. They're usually stuffed with a bread stuffing of some sort and some type of vegetable. Black olive is a very common stuffing for artichokes in southern Italy, around the Naples area. So after the onions and garlic have caramelized a bit, we're now going to add approximately 1 cup of chopped Kalamata olives to the mixture, which is going to add great taste and saltiness to this recipe. Great, now we have our mixture of onions and sauteed garlic and black olives already. What we're going to mix here, I have in this bowl a cup of seasoned panko breadcrumbs, and I'm going to add a cup of seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. You can see the difference in the crumb between the two, and I like the both of them for texture and also for taste. I love the seasoned breadcrumbs for taste when I'm doing Italian cooking. And then we're going to add that carefully to our mixture. You could, of course, make your own breadcrumbs by using stale or old Italian bread and run it through the food processor, and that would make wonderful crumb stuffing as well. Now I can see that I can use a bit more of this combination. It looks like a lot of stuffing for just 2 artichokes, but they're very big artichokes to begin with, and I like them to be quite overstuffed. The balance of the 2 cups of breadcrumbs mixed in. Now, if this mixture begins to feel a little bit dry, you can always add a bit of warm water or some chicken stock if you like that, so that the mixture becomes a bit more crumbly and moist. It looks like to me it could use a bit more. The mixture should hold that way. Now that we see that our stuffing mixture is really nice and moist, if you need to add more liquid to it to make it more moist, do so. Tastes absolutely delicious. We're going to add about 3/4 of a cup of grated Parmesan cheese to this mixture, making it very rich and cheesy. Divided the stuffing into 2 parts. If you have 4 artichokes, obviously divide it into 4. Unless you're really good at eyeballing it, which I'm not, you should really try to divide up your stuffing anytime you're stuffing anything. So what we want to try to do here is to put some filling in each row of the artichoke, so that when you pull off a leaf, it comes off with the stuffing, with this delicious stuffing. So we're going to go all the way around and fill up this artichoke with this divine stuffing in between as many leaves as you can get. Of course, forcing the leaves open is going to be tantamount to making the artichoke fall apart, but so be it. We can always pinch it back together again. Not to worry about that. This is already looking very beautiful. Let's give a whole lot of stuffing into the center onto the artichoke bottom, and finish filling up all the little cracks and crevices among the artichoke leaves. So as you can see, the artichokes are super overstuffed, and we have a little bit of stuffing even left over in the pan. Now, I would suggest that you could use stuffed artichokes like this as a first course, a very hearty first course. You could even use it as a luncheon dish with perhaps a light salad to go with it. In our case, it's Easter today, and we are going to have these as a first course. It's a very kind of spring thing, artichokes are to make, so we've added it to our Easter Sunday menu. I've put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the pan. You must use a roasting pan, because a pan that can go into the oven. And I'm going to drizzle some extra virgin olive oil over the artichokes themselves. And then they're going to go into a 350 oven, and they're going to bake for about 10 minutes, just until they get warm and the flavors meld. Then we're going to take them out and sprinkle some extra grated Parmesan cheese on top, and that's it. Voila, our first course. As you can see, our oven is set at 350 degrees. Artichokes go in the oven for approximately 10 to 15 minutes until they warm. And that's it. So we're now ready to remove the baked artichokes from the oven. There we are. This is our first course. I'm going to sprinkle them with a bit of grated Parmesan cheese, and they'll be ready to serve. And here we are at table, our first course already set up. And the way that you would eat this is that you would simply pull one of these leaves apart, and then the meat of the artichoke leaf is here. So you would take it and eat the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for joining us today, making our baked stuffed artichokes for our first course of our Easter Sunday dinner. Thanks for being with us today, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And have a great evening.